So this week we come to a most wonderful topic. It kind of almost seems out of place. It's like we've been talking about all these spiritual things, culminating in our consecration, our giving our lives to the Lord. How come now we're suddenly talking about our education? And it seems like they're conflicting, but they're really not. Actually, we need to have a proper view of the role and place education has in God's economy. So in the Bible, this week we covered several pictures or people in the Old Testament and even Paul in the New Testament of ones who had received a very high degree of education, and how actually this eventually became very useful to the Lord. Right? This week, Pillar Builders is named after Hiram, who was one of the only pillar builder named amongst the ones who built the temple for Solomon during his time. And we saw that his father was from the Gentile nations, from a nation of commerce, but they were very skilled in bronze work. And this became very useful to the Lord in building the temple. Because guess what? A lot of the temple is built with bronze. And Hiram was skilled not only with bronze, but with various different elements, materials. And this was, on the one hand, you may say, well, it's just a skill, a profession. But on the other hand, this skill and profession was very useful to the Lord. So even, these verses that we just sang from, they're primarily from Philippians 3. Right. And in this, Paul gives his own personal testimony. He lifts off his resume. He says that he was circumcised the 8th day, of the race of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew born of Hebrews, as to the law, a Pharisee, as to zeal, persecuting the church, as to righteousness, which is in the law, become blameless. Yeah. So he had a lot of great attainments. And we also, we should aspire to become useful, in a sense, to the world. I remember someone said, if even the world has no use for you, what makes you think that that you'll be useful to God? So in a sense, we want to be trained. We want to train our minds. We want to pick up skills. Doesn't mean we're all going to become masters of divinity. But, it's very useful to have a medical degree. Actually, during my time in UCLA, I was privileged to know a brother who, he went through med school, and he was a doctor, but he had a really good heart for the Lord. And actually, he brought a lot of his coworkers to the Friday night home meeting that he went to. And he was able to reach a lot of people in that field. And, maybe if you saw him before med school, and you saw the kind of heart he had for the Lord, you may tell him, you should give up med school and go preach the gospel somewhere, because you love the Lord so much. But because he didn't do that, but rather continued on with his education, became a practicing doctor, now he's able to reach a group of people whom I personally probably could not reach. He can relate to those people and bring those people in a way that I could not, because I don't have that kind of training. I'm not able to relate with those kind of people. So all of this is ultimately with the view that we would be useful to the Lord. Right? This isn't just us trying to be balanced people, us Christians trying to fit in with society. But this is we do want to have a view of being useful to the Lord. Our education will make us useful to the Lord if we have Paul's attitude that after attaining all these things, he can say that what things were gains to me, these I have counted as loss. Right? We gain the highest degree, we become a doctor, but in our eyes we count that as loss. That means nothing to us. But all the training involved and the person I become is now a gain to the Lord. It's now useful to the Lord, and that's what matters in our view. So, how about we open up the sharing for we all have some, as students, testimony, some experience of we're here. Why are we here? Why are we in school? What kind of heart do we want to pick up so that we can really become those who are useful to the Lord?